It was only a matter of time before it happened. The Damian Lillard trade. It looks like things are starting to heat up a little bit more. Miami looks like they're working on finalizing this deal. So the way things are looking is we pretty much know what's going to be the Heat and the Blazers. The question is who has more leverage, who's going to be included in that deal. That's kind of why things are stopped, because I feel like this trade should have happened a couple of weeks ago. And Dame is really dead set on Miami. Right. Like it looks like there's no other spot he wants to go through. I happen to think Brooklyn was a pretty dope spot for him. I would have liked to see him and Mikal Bridges and him with all those good young defensive players, but that's besides the point. But I want to start with Blake here. What like the last 2 years with, when it comes to Portland, how they've handled Dame after the CJ McCollum trade? What have been your thoughts on that? Because it kind of feels like they were, we're going to put a contender around you. There are a lot of empty promises there, and then just nothing came of it. So what were your thoughts on like how they handled Dame, post the CJ McCollum trade?
I'm gonna be honest. It ain't as much their fault as it is his, because he's still dumb for staying for that long. But I mean, to be completely honest with you, bro, I told them like a couple weeks ago I didn't got tired of him before he requested the trade. It got to a point where I didn't got tired of him talking about, I want to win, I want to do this. If you wanted to win, you would have been requested a trade two years ago.
Yeah, probably before the contract signed.
Yeah.
On Portland side, I guess since trading CJ, you could kind of say they made an effort, I guess, to build something around him. But it's just especially like with the competition in the West, like how many other good teams you got, it's a lot you need to be able to compete. And what they got, it really hasn't been enough for real.
It's been weird because after the CJ thing, you would think trading for what they gave up for CJ was a bunch of like role players, right? And it was like, and he did get them to. They had that one little playoff series where I think they beat. I forget what happened in that playoff series, but he had that crazy, run against Denver, but then it just came empty. It was really strange because last year he signed the extension with them. I think, I really do think him and Bradley Beal are two of those guys who are elite players, guys who we've seen average 30 points a game in this league, who we were kind of eyebrow raising them when they signed those long-term deals with those teams, right? Like Bradley Beal, when he got extended for Washington, I'm a Wizards fan, y'all know, when he extended himself to Washington, I was like, why are you still here? Because we need to rebuild.
He did it right, though. He did it right. He got that money, and then he said,
that's why he did it.
He got that no trade clause too, in all of that.
Is he the only player in the NBA with no trade clause too? I think he was the only one.
Somebody else has
one. I think there was one, but I think they.
He's definitely the only superstar. He's definitely the only he probably is. He probably is. Yeah.
Wait, no. Does KD have one?
I don't think KD has no trade clause.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He might be the only one.
I think the thing with Brooklyn and them sending him to the Suns because he want to go to the Suns is like, we're gonna take care of you. You know what I mean? Because we don't want people to think that we don't take care of our superstars. They already kind of like dealt, with it. I mean, they're already getting shit on because of how the owner was interacting with the players and all that. It was very public. And so he had, I think, how you should move, which is why they're sending Dame to the Heat when they were saying like everybody's available. No, they're not. Because if you seen Dame anywhere else, the most beloved, Trailblazer probably, in the history of that team, you just send him to somewhere. I mean, who's going to want to? It's already hard to get somebody to go to Portland. Yeah. Who's going to want to go to Portland if you don't take care of your stars? You don't take care of Dame, you for sure going to mistreat me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's a good point there because me and Carl talk about this a lot with Dame. It was about they knew they were going to have to get there's no other way around it. They were going to have to get a big free agent to sign over there. They didn't really have the assets to bring another superstar around him. It was going to have to be another big name guy, another all-star to come down there to help, accompany him whatever the case may be. And like you just said, nobody's going to want to go to a situation where you're like, man, this is how you want to work. Because Blake just talked about it. What they did after trading CJ, giving them all those role players, and over the last couple of years, Jeremy Grant was their best player, and that's no insult to him. That's not what you wanted. That's not going to keep. That's not going to compete with the Western Conference.
What did they pay him to? What, 150, 180, something like that?
Something crazy.
They threw so much bread at him, and like you said, Jeremy Grant's a good player, but my first thing was like, that's a lot of money for Jeremy Grant.
Yeah,
and I think that was probably the final straw. It's like, yo, Jeremy Grant, great player. We need a Jeremy Grant, right? But like, we need a dog out here with me. We need a guy, and y'all can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I love like Shaded Sharp, Anthony Simons. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're fun basketball players, but if you win, you're gonna need another good vet, and you surround them. You know what I'm saying? You might have like some young talent here and there that you put in there, but like you're not gonna win a chip with like just a really good vet and a bunch of young talent. Bron struggled with that when he was with the Lakers.
For year one.
You know, year one, we had all them young boys around him. You know what I'm saying? Like before he got hurt, they was decent, you know what I mean? But they weren't
ready.
They're not a winning team at all, you know what I mean? So
I think what did it for him is when he realized they weren't going to make the playoffs probably halfway through. Because I think it was at some point
game this year too.
That's what I'm saying. At one point, he was like scoring crazy numbers, like 40, 50 points. He had a
high clip too. Like I think he was shooting like from the 3-point line and from
crazy.
He was going crazy.
Because before the season started, I was like, I think the Portland Trailblazers, I think they're going to make the playoffs, this and that. I was like, if Dame gets this team to make the playoffs, I think he can win MVP. And my prediction started off kind of good, but then it kind of went back down.
He got hurt too. He got hurt. He was out.
He got hurt, and then he realized they weren't going to make the playoffs. So then that's when I think he started to realize, I might need to get away from Portland.
Yeah, very true. And like I said, it was just disappointing. And you would think, okay, CJ McCollum thing doesn't work. Let's try to get a better deal to at least get another guard or another all-star type player around him. Like I said, they just go pair him up, with some role players and asking Jeremy Grant to be your second option. Like, I think he's a great player. He's got a couple of 20-point per game seasons under his belt, but he's not a second option on a team that needs to be winning, especially with a guy like Dame, who you guys just mentioned it. He's had some of the craziest regular season runs we've ever seen. There was there was what he did last season, but there was also what he did, I think, 2019, 2020 season before COVID, where he was just losing his mind. We've seen him do some things that, from a regular season standpoint, that few guys in NBA history have done. So I guess my next question there for y'all is there a guy right now in the history of the game that we've wanted to see win a ring more? Like, let me give two here. We saw Russell Westbrook with the triple-double seasons, right? The records he broke and all of those things. And we're seeing what Dame's done, never getting over the hump, but putting up these ridiculous scoring numbers.
Was that the same season, though? So I remember, like, they had that, like, little beef where they was always talking. I was like, I remember, like, looking at the numbers. I'm like, Dame used to smoke Westbrook in them head-to-heads, you know what I mean?
And in the play,
all that rocking the baby didn't help. Yeah, in the playoffs.
Yeah. And in the playoffs,
with that 40-footer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was clean. I still go back just randomly some days and just play it just to see. And
I was watching with my little brother, man. My little brother's a big Westbrook fan. I'm just giving him get on his nerves. But when he hit the shot, like, I was actually on camera, like, we was like, oh my God. We were, bro, he was so sad. And I really lost my mind. I couldn't believe he took the shot, let alone hit it. That's crazy.
I personally, it looked like when he shot it, I felt like it was going in.
You knew it was going in, bro.
You got to be so confident to take that shot.
Yeah. And the way things were going he started that second half with I don't know if y'all remember, he started the second half of like a dribble handoff, and it's like a 35-footer off. It's like, that's how he started the second half. So that dude's crazy.